Alright, in this video, I'll be trying to put all these prophecies and things that I've heard together, what is coming to America, and try to get them all together in one video. This is Isaiah 13:6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. So you see the same thing in Luke 21:26. Men's heart failing for them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming unto earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So you see the same thing there. And then it goes on again. And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth, and they shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. So you see the birth pains, same thing though. When he's always talking about the end, you see the birth pains again here. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So this is coming to the sinners. If you are a Christian and you are repenting and forgiven and seeking God, you will be saved. Okay. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And every time that happens, you know Jesus is coming. Every time it talks about how the moon and the sun are not going to give his light, and then you see the Son of Man coming in glory. Okay. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Who is the most prideful country in the world? America. I'm telling you right now, you tell people America's going to fall, they laugh, it doesn't matter. You could tell them the whole world will attack us and they will still think we could win. They are the most prideful. I'm telling you right now, they do not see it. The world does not see it. The only one who sees it are God and some Christians. Some Christians. Okay. And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the gold wedge of Ophir. So many people are going to die that it's going to be rare to see a man. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall move out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. You see the heavens shaking. Every time you hear about Jesus coming, there's a shaking in the heavens. Okay. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as the sheep that hath no man taken up, they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. And you see the same thing in Jeremiah 51:4 about being thrust through. And then their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Wives are going to get raped. And you see the same thing in Zechariah 14:2, women ravished. And all these places that I'm going to are, so basically these other people are talking about the prophecies of what's coming to America, and they gave these verses or these like Bible scriptures, and I'm showing them that they're saying the same thing over and over. And these ones I got from Dumitry Duduman and God's Healer 7 Barbara. And they're both basically saying the same things, and hers came out way later. Dumitry came out in 1984 talking about how America is Babylon. So, okay. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So money doesn't matter. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So I don't know about everybody else. I'm telling you right now, when the government collapses, when the soldiers disappear and the police disappear, what are people gonna do? Rape and pillage. That's what they do. So I heard it twice. God's Healer 7 talked about it, and Stan from Prophecy Club talked about it, owning a gun to protect yourselves. And people are going to say, oh, you die with the sword. And I know, but this isn't for you to go out and just killing anybody. This is for self-defense, and you will need it because, hey, they're going to take your wives and your daughters and your sons, and they're going to take them as slaves. So you will need protection. I mean, that's on you guys how you feel about that, but we will need protection. I'm not saying go out and kill somebody. If somebody comes to bother you, that's when you defend yourself. So I don't know. I'm gonna get a lot of stuff about that, but whatever. And then let's go to Jeremiah 51 and 7. 51:7. Okay. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take blame for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So our sin is up in God's face. That's how high our sin is. Okay. And the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath risen up the spirit of the kings of the mids. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spoke against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasure, thy end is come, and thy measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillar, and they shall lift a shout against thee. So now we're gonna get into a couple things here. Some lady in I forgot where it was. Anyway, I'll put everything in the description. Every video, everything I'm putting in the description about below. Anyway, she talked about how I think it was Sweden in the 1968 or something like that. It was real like a long time ago. Anyway, she saw everything coming and how it was gonna come in waves, and she talks about the great falling away was going to be the prosperity gospel. You know, nothing bad's going to happen. You can sin all you want. God will take you as you are. Money, you know, you give God money, he'll give you money. You know, it's going to be that. But she also said that it's going to be when they, she's talking about Europe though. And she said Europe was going to be filled with men, migrants, and that when they say peace and safety, that's when the end is going to come. And the same thing I heard about Europe is the same thing I hear about America. When they're going to fill us up, you just see it right there. It's going to fill us up with men. And when they say peace and safety, that is when it's going to come. Let's see. 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But the times and of the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall sell peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So again, you see the women with the child, you know, birth pains. Anyway, when they say peace and safety is going to come. Now it says, I'm going to fill you with men as a caterpillar. I believe this is this has to do with Mexico. You know, Mexico's, you know, a bunch of people are coming in. And I also believe it's going to do with when war breaks out, after the nukes, they're going to start a ground invasion. I mean, they're going to, I heard Russia's going to have like 1 million men. I mean, and it's not just going to be them. It's going to be pretty much, I'll get into more later, but it's going to be a lot of people. They're going to raise a shout against us, just as the Bible says. And then, I don't know, Jeremiah 51:42. The sea is come upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. So I keep hearing about tsunamis going to come. Tsunamis are going to come, and they're going to be the biggest tsunamis you have ever seen. You know, the biggest earthquakes are coming. I mean, everything is going to be the worst time. You know, man, natural disasters are coming. So anyway. And then we go into, this is Zechariah 14. It talks about how God's going to destroy the nations. Anyway, in 14:2, it talks about how the women are going to be ravaged again. Which I don't know, I'm telling you, what was that movie? I forgot what it was. I forgot. But anyway, man, I'm telling you, man, when the government leaves, and I'm telling you, rapes are going to happen. That's what they do, man. Every time they leave, I'm telling you, it's going to happen immediately. And even if that doesn't happen, when in war too, that also happens. So we're going to be attacked. I mean, I was watching a movie, oh man, where is it? I watched it a long time ago. But the flowers of war. How when China or Japan attacked China and how they were raping their women. I'm telling you, that's gonna happen. So get prepared. I mean, so now let's go into, I didn't really want to get into that one, but now this is Revelation 17 and 18 talk about Babylon. Okay, let's see. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. With whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the habitations of the earth had made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So not only are we committing fornication, we are causing other nations to commit fornication. But anyway, so who sends out the most porn? America. Who's addicted to the most porn? America. But not only that, everything in America has to do with sex. I'm telling you, it's called, I like to call it the sex agenda. I mean, in wrestling, the girls are half naked. In video games, the girls are half naked. And movies, girls are half naked. In TV shows, girls are half naked. Even when like it's teenage shows, girls are half naked, or they're naked and they're having sex acts. Music videos. What else is there? Modeling. Like the guys will wear a shirt and the girl wears sexy. I'm telling you, every single thing America does is sex, 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 sex. You know, you always hear sex sells. But look at that. We are committed. It causes America to commit fornication, which is so interesting because we are addicted to porn. But not only that, we're bringing it upon all nations. We're making them drunk with it. Which only, man, America feels that completely. No other nation has the influence America has. China isn't giving their movies all around the world and everybody's seeing it. No, it was only America that's doing this. So, man, it's America, man. It's America. Okay. So he carried me away in the spirit to the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting upon a solid scarlet-colored beast, full of names and blasphemies, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of blasphemies and filthiness of her fornication. So again, we see the golden cup. Dimitri talked about this, how America was the golden cup, how we had the Bible, how we preached the gospel all around the world, how we did all these things. So, and we see the golden cup again. So it's like, like you need the Holy Spirit to see all these things come together. It's like, oh man, it's amazing. But anyway. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I heard somebody say the reason why he calls us that is because we accepted every single religion. We accepted the Muslims, we accepted Buddhists, we accepted, atheists, we accepted every religion. Which if you ever looked at the Old Testament, God never tells the Jews to take everybody in. He tells them, you stand separate. But America took everybody in. And look at what happened. We were a Christian nation. Now look at that. They're trying to do everything to get rid of that. And look how worse it keeps getting. Look how worse. Okay. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So the blood of saints, Ashley did a great video on this. I'm gonna put all these videos in the bottom. She talks about how America's Babylon and how saints is another word for babies too. Which who killed the most babies? Who started all that bomb? America. And then not only that, she talks about how when we nuked Japan, the 2 cities we nuked were the most Christian. Not only that, Obama made it. He accepted Muslims, but he didn't take the Arabs who were Christians, which will fit perfectly in America. No, he took the Muslims who never assimilate. So anyway, not only that, Obama created ISIS. They created the power vacuum. They left all the weapons over there. Even Hillary on the video admits this, that they created ISIS, which what ISIS did, they started killing Christians. And this is what we know. Who knows all the other things that America did that caused Christians to die? So who knows? Like, this is what we know, and I see it. So we have definitely killed a lot of saints of God, especially the children. Okay. And then we go to Revelation 17:15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are people, multitudes, and nations and tongues. Who has the most? We are known as a culture. What is that? Pot? Cauldron pot? Culture pot? I don't know, like we're all a melting pot. There we go. Because we have all these nations, languages, tongues, and I just told you it's called Mystery Babylon because we have all these things, all these different religions. Anyway, who does that? America. No other country really does that. And we're known for it too, again. We're known for it. So, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God had put it in their hearts to fulfill their will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So first of all, they turn on us. They turn on us. So, and you see, with fire, every time I see that, I think of nukes. We're going to get hit with nukes, and fire is going to burn. So they're going to turn on us and nuke us. But anyway, the great city, which is the greatest city in the world, New York City. And who reigneth over everybody is America. America is the world power. We are the police. Somebody talked about this, how Israel feels safe because America. When America's gone, Israel's going to be completely alone, and they will have to rely on the Messiah, which is Jesus when he comes. They will cry out to him, and he will come. So that's not going to happen when America around. Not only that, we're the police force. Not only that, we give all the money and food. Like, we are everything. We're like, who reigns over the world? It's America. We're the ones always doing these things, you know? Okay. Now let's get into it. And this is Revelation 18. After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitations of devils, and hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Which is, I was watching a movie about India. How they had a movie about this. She was in love with a girl, and they was talking about how America, Western influences, which of course means America, and they try to say it wasn't that, it was natural. No, it's Western influences. But anyway, it talks about how we accept every devil. Look at the Illuminati. They're always getting worshipped in these music videos. Look at all these celebrities, they worship Satan. They do all these hand signs. Look at all that stuff. It's always America. And again, what happens? All our stuff gets poured into all the world. So we are definitely full of demons. I mean, look at witchcraft is on the rise. I just heard the occult is on the rise. I mean, you name it. We are foul. Okay, we have every unclean, hateful bird. I mean, America is the most. I mean, oh man, we're so like offended at everything. Everybody's mad. Everybody's hateful. I mean, you see the rage. People are losing it at fast food restaurants. I mean, they're losing in the road rage. I mean, we have truly become the habitation of devils. I mean, man. That is America. I mean, we're worshiping Satan. Look at the Hellboy movie coming out. Look at all these, like Daredevil, another devil. Like, then, oh, man. Okay. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and kings of earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So everybody's getting rich because of us, and all these things. I mean, well, we're not anymore, but anyway, we were the wealthiest nation and all these things. So, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and ye receive not her plagues. Again, don't sin, don't commit sins. It's not talking about getting out of Rochester, not getting out of America. It's more about getting away from the sins that they are committing. I mean, look at how they glorify the gay people. Look at how everything that's evil, they glorify. Look at how they glorify the Muslims. Look at how they glorify everything except Christianity, which gives them the freedom that they freaking, oh man. So they curse Christianity, yet gives them the freedom, it protects them, it does all these things, yet they curse it, yet all these evil things they glorify. So, I mean, look at the gay pride parades, those are everywhere. And what do? They always mock Jesus. Always mock Jesus. Oh, but they always try to play the victim. Oh man, don't get me started. Now I need to start on that. Okay. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God had remembered iniquities. Okay, I will get into that later. Dimitri Duduman talks about this too. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled, fill her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I am a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Again, America is the most prideful. They do not see we are going to fall. Therefore shall her pains come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fires. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Again, nukes. We are going to be destroyed. It's going to be so fast how America is going to be destroyed. We are the strongest nation. We were. And I'm telling you, when people see America destroyed, they're gonna do exactly what. Okay, I'm getting it. And the kings of the earth who had committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. They're gonna be surprised. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver, precious stone, and of pearls, and of fine linen, and pearl, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all thine, and wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odor, and ointments, and frankincense, and wines, and oils, and fine flour, and wheat, and beast, and sheep, and horse, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruit of thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which thy dainty and goodly shall depart from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches have come to naught, and every shipmaster, and all their companies, and ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. One of the things that's going to happen to America is the dollar is going to collapse. And you keep seeing how the money's going to be not worth anything. That's coming. Okay. And cry, and when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, This what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust from their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city wherein was made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for 1 hour is she made desolate. I mean, oh man, didn't America did the water thing too, where like all waters are free and we could go everywhere. I remember learning about that. Okay. Anyway. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. Again, we see that the blood's on America. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast into the sea, saying, This with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and should be no more found at all. So I believe that stone is going to be a meteor. Everybody keeps saying the thing that starts everything, the natural destruction of America, is a meteor. So... And the voice of harpers and magicians and of pipers and trumpers shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatever every craft he be shall be found no more at all in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. The music is going to stop, which all music in America is evil anyway. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants which were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. So, and it says, by sorceries were all nations deceived. Again, who did the sex agenda? America. Who's doing this gay agenda? America. Look at all the shows where they have the gay person, they have to have the transgender person, and they try to say it's normal and all these things. Look at then now look at the subliminal messages, you know, look at all the devil worship, and look at all the blasphemies about Jesus. They always cursing Jesus. They use his name as a curse word. You know, they're always mocking Christianity. Look at I mean, there's so many things that we're doing. I mean, we have truly did sorceries onto whole nations. What? Because they for our movies and TV shows and music and all this stuff, they're being manipulated. So it's definitely America, man. Okay. Now. Okay, so. Man, I want to talk about. Oh, man, I don't know the order and everything happens. But anyway. A meteor is going to hit. And what that meteor is going to cause the earthquake, which is going to be the New Madrid earthquake. And this is where I believe Jesus comes back. I could be wrong about this. This is where I believe the rapture happens. I could be wrong. I don't know. But this is like, I don't know. I feel like this is it. The closest? I don't know. And I beheld, and when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Every mountain and island were moved out of their place, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in dens and in the rocks of mountains, and said to the mountains, and rocks fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is coming, who shall be able to stand? Every time you hear about the wrath, you hear about everything going black, and you hear it right there, the heavens shaking and the earthquake. I believe that's when Jesus comes back, when that earthquake splits America, but don't hold me to it, because, man, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't know is the rapture. Okay. So Dimitri Duduman talked about America's Babylon. He talked about, so first of all, I want to talk about, where is it? 2 Kings 24, 3 through 4. Actually, I want to skip. For the sins of Masana, according to all that he did, and also for the innocent blood that he shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. So I've heard from Henry Gruber that he goes and prays for places. He said there are certain places in America he couldn't go over pray for. Like, it's made for destruction. America's going to get it. Man, I heard so much stuff happen to New York City, and once they passed that abortion thing, I was like, oh, now I know why. Man, like, that is one of the worst things you could do, is kill innocent blood. So, man, I can't believe there's Christians out there that think pro-choice. Like, no. You are not a Christian if you think pro-choice is okay. You better get closer to God. I'm sorry. Okay, he talked, so this is Dimitri Duduman. He talks about California. He saw California, Las Vegas, New York, Florida. And he said it is as Sodom and Gomorrah. He said the sins have reached up to heaven, and he said America will burn. And he talks about how, and he talks about how Russian spies had came and they found all the nuke sites. And he says, America, enemies inside America will start an internal revolution. The nations will attack our nuke. So the internal revolution, and then we're going to get nuked. They're going to nuke our nuke sites. Okay. And then he talks about these verses, Jeremiah 51, 8, 15, which is the ones I were, Revelation 18, Zechariah 14. So basically he asked God, if this is true, you will show me in the Bible. These are the verses the angel showed him. So anyway, then God Healer 7, Barbara, Isaiah 13, 9 through 18, she talked about how they both talked about the wives being ravished, the enemies are in the government, how they're already here. And so, like, in this, she just came out with this one not too long ago. He came out with that one in 1984, so he was dead on. So anyway, then we get into Chuck Youngbrat. I'm going to put all these videos down. You have to watch them. They're so good. Okay. Chicago earthquake will knock people in Detroit 300 miles off their feet. That's how strong this earthquake is going to be. This is the New Madrid earthquake. He only saw Chicago. So I remember watching this video, learning about this, and then I learned about the New Madrid, and I found out that Chicago's in that area. So it's like, boom, that's when it hit me. He was dead on about everything. Anyway, he says Lake Michigan was empty, then came back 15 stories high. Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Louis was destroyed. Underwater tsunami came. So basically, Chicago's here. The water's here. It's going to push the water north, and then it's going to come back, boom. And it's going to follow the whole Mississippi down. But I didn't put every city that's going to be destroyed. But those are the ones. Those are some of them. And then he says, so basically when America's hurt by natural disasters, this is when every country starts. They see the opportunity. Then he says 37 days. He said 30 days here. I heard different. I don't want to give you specific days, but anyway, like a month later, let me say it like that, at least a month later maybe, that is when Russia is in the East Coast attacking us. First they nuke us, and then they start coming in. So they nuke us, and then Russia comes in on the East Coast, China, Japan, Mexico on the West Coast. He talked about how China was going to start just everybody in California, they're going to throw in pits and bury them alive. So I'm telling you guys, be ready. Everything south of Orlando, Florida sank because of nuke attack, which this is what I had in my dream. It's so funny now that, oh man, it's like everybody keeps talking about Florida now that I see it. Now like my eyes are open, it's like, oh man, I had the dream where Florida gets hit and it falls off the map. He said it. So Florida sunk because of a nuke attack. Okay, man. Okay, and then these are the nations that attacked. It's going to be Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, Russia, China, Japan, and I think it's going to be North Korea too, because I had a dream about North Korea attacking. In the dream, I said it's North Korea, and they had the symbol. They had a circle with the star in white and red. which at the time I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was North Korea in a dream. So anyway, I looked it up later why that's the symbol of North Korea, and I was like, it's God's giving me that revelation. So I feel like North Korea is gonna be one of them. I don't know. Maybe I should be more confident. Yes, it's gonna be North Korea. So all those people are gonna attack us. And this is like after we're already going to be pretty much destroyed by the natural disasters caused from God. So it's going to be like, oh man, people do not see it, I'm telling you. Let's see. I don't know. He talked about disease coming from California, moving east. You're starting to see these, all these diseases, the superbugs out there, and the measles, and it's like you see everything coming together. He talked about Canada and Mexico are going to seal their borders, so Mexico's going to seal their borders. I keep telling people, like people keep talking about Mexico's coming in. I'm like, they're gonna be leaving when the natural disasters happen. People they don't believe me, man. Okay, anyway, Russia killed all in Alaska. I don't know if they like cut aid or something, but they're gonna do something that everybody in Alaska is gonna die. Guys in Alaska, get prepared. And then in Joel 3:2, it talks about how they parted my land, and that how because of that, God's gonna part our land. So anyway, so now this is what's coming to America. This is what I see. This is what I'm getting from a lot of different people, and they're all saying the same things. Or I heard somebody say this and somebody say this, and then it comes together. So anyway, a meteor is going to come. I heard two of them. I know one of them is going to hit water, causing a tsunami. Is going to hit the East Coast. That's why I thought Florida's going to hit with the flood, a tsunami first. I'm not sure though. But anyway, it's going to hit the East Coast. Boom. New York is definitely getting hit. And I had a dream about tsunami hitting me. I'm in Rochester right now, but I don't know. The place didn't look like Rochester where I lived. But anyway, so tsunami is going to hit. Boom. Because of that, the force of the meteor, that's going to cause the earthquake. And that earthquake is going to split America in two with the New Madrid fault line. Go look it up. That's where the earthquake that's going to split America in two. I'm talking about, he says it's going to be separated by water. And this is also the earthquake that's going to hit Chicago. And then that's going to cause the water to go up there north in Lake Michigan and come back down and hit all that places that I already talked about. So all this is happening at the same time. And then at the same time, volcanoes are going to go off. One of them being the Yellowstone National Park, which I remember hearing about. It's active. Like I remember hearing about the roads they couldn't go on because it was melting tires. I don't know. So everything like people were saying, I've been like, oh, it's like the news keep talking about it. So anyway. So, and then once that happens, America's going to be pretty much destroyed. And all that happens because people keep saying it. It says, they parted my land, I will part their land. When somebody comes out with a peace plan, I think it's going to be Trump, I'm not sure. Whoever comes out with a peace plan in America that splits Israel's in two and gives land to the Pakistan, that is when God's going to destroy America. That's when it's coming. So when you see the peace plan and it says about let's split Israel, get prepared, it is coming. That is what causes America destruction. That is when God goes, that's it, I'm done. So and then you hear that's when the meteor happens and you see about Babylon and he talks about the angel throwing the stone. Okay, anyway. Now, okay. I don't know what order it is. I know an eternal revolution is coming. The enemy inside America are going to start. They're going to start civil war. They're going to start going after Christians. They're going to start doing laws against you. It's coming. And he says, Dimitri talked about how when they're doing that, that's when war comes. But anyway, natural disasters are coming too. That's what I just told you about all the things that are going to happen. The rapture is going to happen. I don't know when. I feel like it's going to be because of the earthquake or I don't know. That's where I keep hearing about World War III and Jesus coming around World War III times. So I hear that too. So I don't know. Just throwing it out there. The money is going to collapse too. And all those are going to happen. I don't know when all those happen. Make a list. And then I know after all these happens, I know that's when we get nuked. And after the nukes, invasion. Which I already told you about all the nations that are going to invade us. That's what's going to happen. So, I feel like the Eternal Revolution is next. natural disasters again are going to happen when they split America. Now the money collapsing, I don't know what's going to happen. The money's going to fall. And then it's going to be pretty much, it's going to be down. Like, it's going to fall. I heard, what was it? The one that the money collapsed, and he said it fell down 20%. He says it's going to fall down 30. And then it's going to stay there. And then he says when all these nations are going to do something with the oil, because everything right now is converted into U.S. currency. They're going to do it so whether it's converted to gold, and we're no longer have the oil currency. And then that's when, boom, it's going to collapse. Money's going to be garbage. It's going to be thrown on the streets. I mean, nobody's going to care about it. And you keep hearing about that. And, you know, I reread a bunch of verses on that. So the money's going to collapse. That's how the money's going to collapse. And Henry Groover, he talks about Russia attacking with submarines, which I just saw a thing like a day ago talking about how Russia's already preparing a submarine with nukes. And he says it's going to be a nuke, and he says it's going to attack New York, Florida, again, another one with Florida getting attacked by a nuke, Washington, and he says California, and he says 3 areas in California are getting nuked. And that's what's coming to America, guys. That's what's coming to a town near you. Oh, man. Spread this video around. Put it on Facebook. Put it, I don't know, just spread it out. I feel like this is dead on. This is what's going to happen. It's, you know, it cannot be stopped. We had shed too much blood. I mean, oh, man. And then the last thing I want to leave people with is hope. The thing, every video I've seen about the end times and how bad it is, how, oh, man, it's worse than you could imagine. But every single time he keeps hearing about God. If you are with God, you will be saved. You're going to be okay. You know, like, oh man, just, oh man. Dimitri talked about how you come to him and you must stop sinning, repent, ask Jesus to save you if you aren't saved. Repent of your sins. If you are saved, keep repenting and keep forgiving. Those are the 3 things. You ask Jesus to save you, keep repenting, keep forgiving. And no fear. You have no fear, no matter what happens, you have no fear. That dream of the tsunami, man, that it was coming at me, and I prayed and I seen an orb, and man, I'm telling you, like, if you are with God, you will be okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you died. It doesn't matter, like, it just doesn't matter, man. Like, you are safe under God's, arms, but you have to be his. You have to be his, man. You can't be a lukewarm Christian, one door in the church and one door out there with the world sinning. You have to be his, man. And you will be protected. You won't have to worry. You don't have to fear. Like, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to put everything together so people know what's coming. And the biggest thing in this video you can get is just get close to Jesus. I mean, you have nothing to fear, man. Man. So that's the one thing I want people to get out of this video. It's just, you have nothing to fear if God is with you. Who can stand against you, That's everything, man. Man. Hopefully you guys watched the video.